Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, your noisy and bossy fitness innovator, race announcer, and keynote speaker and author. And today I want to get you up, active, taking responsibility for your life and add a little sunshine to it.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I am over the moon stoked to bring you this interview with my awesome sauce, really good friend, Fitz Koehler. And she is the founder and level up officer of Fitzness.com. That's Fitzness.com. And it's just a fantastic interview. She drops knowledge nuggets that are just going to get you excited to get out there, pursue your skill set, and just really feel good about yourself inside and out. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Fitz Koehler from Fitzness.com. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got my Fitz Koehler Fitzness. And if you see her on Vimeo or YouTube or wherever you're at, you can see the awesome sauce lighting this behind her with Fitzness. Beautiful lady, awesome presenter. Like if you want to be leveled up by a speaker that is all over the stage, kind of like me, because the people that have seen me, I start with a trampoline on stage and people are like, Fergie, you're just absolutely nuts. And like the energy that Fitz brings to the stage is absolutely fantastic as well. She's a noisy, bossy, compelling person. Fitz is one of the most prominent and compelling fitness experts and race announcers in America, which I can't wait to dig into that as well. She's also an author of My Noisy Cancer Comeback and the Queen of Corporate Keynotes. She'll help you live better, longer, and level up at Fitzness.com, which I'll spell that for you just a little bit later so you don't leave the podcast. And I want you to hear everything, all the knowledge nuggets that comes from my really good friend, Fitz here. And Fitz, please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Blue. I love baby blue, but I also love my gator blue. So I might have just turned off about 30%. But I also love the blue in the American flag. So blue seems to be the trend with me.
Thank you for my fellow vets. We definitely thank you.
A raging patriot. Thank you for protecting freedom.
Yes, awesome. It's funny is that like out of the big three in Florida, like the Gators is my team. I'm from Michigan, so I'm a Sparty guy.
Go Spartans.
Well, there you go. But like I love it. And I've been to the swamp, which is pretty cool. Sang Won't Back Down with everybody. That's great. Just a fantastic time. So Fitz, let's kind of I'm sorry for kind of laughing when I said the noisy about the cancer. So
that's
I apologize about that because I kept on noisy and nosy. It's like I didn't want to say.
I'm not nosy. I'm definitely noisy.
I love it. You're fantastic. I've watched a bunch of your stuff on YouTube. And it's amazing. So let's get to the origins a little bit of where you came through the cancer comeback and then where you're at right now leveling people up.
Yeah. So, I've made my entire career teaching fitness. I've basically done nothing else since I was 14 when I was selling Cinnabons at the mall. Started teaching.
Don't buy this.
I know, right? The total opposite.
Right.
But yeah, I love people and I love helping people live better and longer. I make fitness understandable, attainable, and fun. I'm the no nonsense girl. I tell you the truth. I don't sell you crap. And if you do what I tell you to do, you'll get where you want to go. So highly effective. And I make you feel good because I love you so much. And then the other thing is I'm a professional race announcer. I am the voice of some of the most iconic running events in the United States. So Los Angeles Marathon, Big Sur, Buffalo Marathon, Gasparilla, Route 66, the DC Superhero Series, you name it. I make those races, instead of just events, I make them experiences. I get every last participant involved, even if we have tens of thousands, and hopefully send them home, every last one, including the final finisher, feeling like a champion. So I am noisy. I get paid to make happy noise and compel people to do better and be better. Wow. Oh, and then the cancer thing. 2019, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then I continued to travel the country bald and gray and sick. But because I've chosen my career so wisely that even in the worst parts of my treatment where I was deathly ill and spending the night on my hotel bathroom floors, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and put on my clothes. And the second I stood on those stages in front of those runners, every last symptom or side effect I was experiencing faded away. And I got to be full force Fitz Koehler again because I was doing the thing that I loved for the people that I loved. And that's kind of the magic of life is when we're doing the right thing, nothing can stop us.
I love that. I love it. So where did you find the energy to still perform? I understand it's probably passion, but where was it?
Well, you know what it's like. You stand on a stage and it's the most powerful adrenaline bolt in the world. And it's it's like I'm a junkie for people who want to be fit. I love that. And they show up. It's interesting on the fitness side of things. I have to do a lot of arm twisting. I'm constantly trying to convince people exercising is a good idea. You should watch what you put in your mouth. You should get some sleep, blah, blah, blah. Like twist the arms. On race day, an organization says, hey, Fitz, here's 30,000 people who think exercise is a good idea. Make sure they know what's going on and they have a great time. And it just fills me up so intensely. It's one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. And fortunately, I get to have it, 30, 50, 100 times a year, depending on how many races I'm announcing. It's extraordinary.
And the passion just shines through. I just saw you get a little emotional about it too, which is just fantastic because you're doing what you love in the service of people that love what you do, right? I mean, people see it.
And the appalling thing is they pay me and they pay me well, and there's great value to this thing that I love doing. But what a way to earn a living. And I speak to a lot of college students at University of Florida and otherwise, but my intention is to get people to pursue their passions, their skill set and their passions. And when those things combine, boy, can you have a happy life.
That's awesome. I believe also that everything starts with your temple. You have to be selfish with your temple, with your body before you can help other people. Like my squad out there that knows it and they see me speak, I have a trampoline that I bring out. And the first 2.5 minutes is on a trampoline, rebounding, right? And that changed my life. I've turned 50 years old and I don't feel it, don't look it. And I attain a lot of it to trampoline because I tell people, your blood is pumped by your heart and cleansed and purified, but your lymph system where cancer and all that other shit is stored, you can't get out without movement. So when you're at 0 gravity to 4 times gravity, you're flushing it out. And like by the end of the speech, like 14 or 15 people have literally bought a trampoline off Amazon. I tell them, I give them the link. So I love that you start in protecting that temple. So
and let me just throw it in there. Not only is fitness in general a great preventative tool. However, if illness or injury strikes, even if you're the fittest person, your fitness level is going to help you recover, rebound, and get back to normal or fight off some of the nasty effects far better than others. And I tell you what, I traveled the country I had brutal treatment for 15 months and I had more adventure in 1 year than most healthy people have in 10 years. And that's because I've always taken great care of my body. So if you're listening, today's the day. Get started. Don't put it off.
Do this. Let's get started. Let's put you with Fitz. That's for sure. So do you coach people as well, Fitz, or are you more just on the speaking tie?
Almost everything I do is designed for mass impact. So could someone technically hire me? I'm sure there's a number that would convince me, but I am highly unsatisfied by work that only affects a small amount of people. My mission is mass impact. And so if you can put me on a stage in front of thousands, millions on national television, that feels like a very satisfying day. So is there an opportunity perhaps for individual stuff, but really my heart is with huge audiences.
I love that. So obviously you're speaker, I'm speaker. We get pulled aside after speeches all the time and we're blessed for that. But when you're speaking to somebody and they're coming up to you saying, man, I really want to level up my fitness and whatnot, is there any questions you might ask them on the spot to maybe help them find their blind spot to blast through? Because they don't have access to you except for that 17, 25 minutes that you're on stage, right? So is there anything?
So this is the thing at Fitzness.com. That's Fitzness.com. I have provided so many free resources that I truly send people. If you go on the cover page, there's the exact formula for weight loss. This is your specific personalized formula on exactly how much of the right food to eat to get to the goal weight. So, instead of me spending 27 minutes regurgitating this, I say, hey, go read this 5-minute article. Ask if you have any questions. I have over 100 of free workout videos. Some are pretty small. Some are maybe 10, 12 minutes. But I have provided all the free resources. I do not take money from the individual. And so I say, hey, for me and for you, go read this stuff or utilize these tools. And then if you have a question that sets outside that box, I'm happy to answer questions. And much like you just stated, Scott, is one of the greatest gifts of this work and traveling the country and standing on stages is I get to know so many people and I make so many genuine friends. I feel like I could hit every state in the country and have a warm bed to sleep in with a friendly meal.
Thank you for saying that.
I love people. Yeah.
Right. What do you find? Do you find any people might be intimidated by you in any way, shape, or form?
Sure. It's really interesting. Exhibit A is one of my friends who's in the running industry, his girlfriend, who's a full grown up. She's probably in her late 50s now, but she was afraid to introduce herself to me. And we had a picture taken at one point, and I said, my friend Renee. And so he came, he was like, Renee was so excited that you referenced her as a friend. And I said, I'm sorry. I thought we were friends, just because I'm the person on the stage doesn't make me more important or less real, I guess. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of that. People say, oh, I feel like we're friends. And I always think, I thought we were friends.
I think that we're different a lot of times than what we are on stage. Like I am the Midwest guy. I'm 6'1", I'm 260, I'm pretty well put together, and I hug everybody.
Yes, me too. That's my thing.
Yes, and I say I love your guts to everybody because I do. I freaking love people because I love what I do.
We are cut from the same cloth.
Yes, we are. We're like sisters and brothers from different mothers. I love this. So I've been wanting to ask you this, like with you speaking 30, 40 times a year or more, like I call it chasing energy, right? Like I turned 50 and things happen to your body. I don't make any excuses. I just look for different ways and hacks, if you will, to get around it. Like I chase energy. A lot of people are like, don't chase shit. You'll never find it. Catch it. I'm like, well, wait a minute. A coyote can chase a rabbit and it'll catch it. If it does,
I conquer stuff every day, Scott. I do not believe people saying that chasing is fruitless. No,
I love that. Thank you. So what is your secret sauce, if you will, to chase energy so you can be Fitz that you are every day?
So I'm laser focused. I know what I want and I'm willing to do the work to get there. And so when it comes to my health, my body, I love feeling fit and I enjoy the process of exercising. Am I doing the things I don't enjoy to do? No, I love strength training, so I do it. I love running races, so I do it. I prefer races in the mud, so I do obstacle course races. But yeah, in that regard, it's easy to keep me moving because I love the outcomes. And I used to be overweight. I was a chunky teenager with an eating disorder, and it feels great to feel great. I'm proud of my body.
I love it,
and that's worth the effort because I remember what it felt like and what emotionally felt like to be in a body I was uncomfortable with. And there ain't nothing that would drive me back into that position. And then as far as my ambitiousness with my career, I get so much personal pleasure out of it. I adore making an income. And I think that's one of the things some people are embarrassed to say. I love receiving a paycheck and I love having great value that makes people better. And, I know if I'm being paid X amount, they're certainly profiting far more than the amount they gave me, or they never would have made this deal. And I just enjoy it. I love every day. I love getting to do what I do.
Fitz, you were stuck in, like, I think you said chunky body or something before, and where you're at now, do you ever find yourself feeling like you might have a little bit of imposter syndrome every now and then? Any doubts, any weaknesses?
So interestingly enough, I would say when I first got out of college and I was branching out more into public speaking, and I've been doing this level of or a high level of presentations for a very long time. And I remember at that point hearing until you fake it until you make it. And so sometimes I would accept an opportunity before I really had ever done it before. And I just thought I'd figure it out.
Me too.
And that's right. And then now, honestly, I'm your girl. If you want someone to stand on stage and hit it out of the park every single freaking time, if you want your people to be engaged, informed, entertained, you want your audience to leave feeling damn good and excited about your experience, I'm your girl. I don't have any doubts anymore. I do not have any doubts. Now,
I love it.
I don't believe I'm the prettiest girl. I don't believe I'm the most stylish girl. I know who I am and I know what I can provide. But the things that I'm trying to accomplish, I'm a proven product.
And it came through
100%.
reps, not just in the gym, but it came through reps of getting on stage and doing it. And the grit is a monotonous activity, man. You just got to do. And I love that. So have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Of course.
All right, let's go back with Marty McFly, getting that DeLorean. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Fitz. I don't know if it was colored then, but let's go back to Double Deuce Fitz. What, if any, knowledge nuggets would you drop on her to maybe not change anything, but help her level up, blast through, and shorten that learning curve just a little bit?
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way not to fear the word no. And that was a tragic flaw, being someone who was afraid to make a phone call or ask for an opportunity. I figured that out. I was a competitive kickboxer for 10 years. And it was one of those moments where I left a particularly brutal training session covered head to toe with bruises and battered. And I wanted to call and ask for this opportunity that I had been putting off for years. And finally I thought, hey, dummy, you just faced 4 different people twice your size for an hour. You step out into a ring surrounded by thousands of people with an opponent who wants to knock your head off. Why are you afraid to make this phone call?
You and I are so like...
I just thought, what in the world? And so I called. It was a magazine publisher. They had been writing articles about me and they constantly butchered the information. They'd misspelled my name and it pissed me off and it made my brand look bad. And so finally, after that aha moment, I called and I said, hey, Bob, it's Fitz. Oh, hey, Fitz. I said, I was thinking about it. I'd really like to write an article for you. He goes, oh, that would be great. And then I thought, he said, yes. And he goes, and how much do you want for it? And then I thought, he's going to pay me. And it just really changed the way I thought about things. So I try not to be a coward on the things that that don't involve bruises, broken bones, or public humiliation. So
God, you and I are so parallel. Like I competed in jiu-jitsu for years, right? So you're out there. I competed in bodybuilding for years too. So I'm out there in my underwear, flexing my muscles in front of 2,000 people. Like the Mr. Michigan is like a huge thing.
Cool.
And it's just kind of like, like if you can do that, you can pretty much find ways to do anything. So Fitz, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, which we hope it's a long ways down the road. Your life date, death date. How do you want Fitz's dash remembered?
Well, I have a large school running program called the Morning Mile, and that is the most impactful thing I've ever done, because I feel like if I could get children to learn the lifelong habits of starting each day in an active way, then I can really change their future. So Fitz Koehler, Morning Mile, mother, noisy would go a long way. Noisy, joyous, Morning Mile.
I love that. So what do people misunderstand about you the most, do you think?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if anybody does misunderstand me. I think I'm so brutally honest.
Transparent.
Transparent.
I love it. You know what? You have the cancer, we just call it cancer background because it's in our past. But like, do people ever, like, I look at people like us and we're humans. So we go through shit, right? It's like we go through stuff and people sometimes just don't understand. They think, oh yeah, you can blast through anything. Fergie can get through anything. And it's just like, dude, I'm the same way, man. If I'm not in the ocean, I can have a bad day, like every day. I got a paddleboard, I have a pit bull, and we're on the ocean, right? Like as long as the weather is cooperating. But yeah, I get misunderstood a little bit about that. But so what, if anything, keeps Fitz up at night?
That's another good question. I sleep pretty well. I'm at peace with the girl in the mirror. You know what? Sometimes excitement about opportunities. Once those wheels get spinning, if I have a new project or an idea, those are the things. And what my secret to getting past that is to take out my iPhone, use the notes section, and then write down my thoughts. Yeah. And then that'll allow me to know that those good ideas are there in the morning.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it at that moment. Except for put it on paper or your phone, whatnot. That's why I'm like that guy with the 3x5 cards. It's on my nightstand. I wake up and sometimes Fitz, I leave my phone out of my room. So it's like, I pick up the card and I write it down. And in the morning, I'll be like, where the hell did that come from? You know what I'm saying? It might not have made any sense.
Oh, right? So this is actually a more challenging moment is I swim laps for exercise sometimes. And there's nothing to think about when you're there. There's no distractions in the pool. And then that's where I get some great ideas, but you can't write it down because you're swimming laps.
You and I'm telling you, like I take daily sabbaticals every day, whether it's just doing some Wim Hof breathing and chilling out, or just walking along the ocean, or like you said, like in the pool, like me in the shower. I'm like, shit, Alexa, take note. Like I'll call it to Alexa, I'll yell out to her and be like, write this down. I love it. So I have to ask you, what's your morning routine?
Okay. So sometimes it's really leisurely. If I'm at home and I'm not at an event speaking or hosting, I wake up at my leisure and I cuddle with my dogs. I've got 2 incredible dogs that make me so happy. I check my emails and social media from my phone. Maybe I'll bring my laptop into my lap and do a little work. Then I go straight to the dog park with the dogs, or I take them for a big walk. They're a huge priority. And then it looks things like working out and more emails and
so you take care of Fitz. I like that. Okay.
I do. I'm very big on taking care of myself. And then on a race day, for example, it's up at 4 a.m., bolting over to the start line, dealing with the timers and the sound to make sure they're doing their job properly, because I can't do mine unless they do theirs. And then sometimes it's managing 25,000 people, which is a great gift. And And then I often go to sleep early when I travel. People think I'm out party, but no, my mornings start early and I have to be sharp. If I'm the one on the microphone, there's little room for error.
Yeah. I like once I'm done, I'll do the obligatory shake hands and might have a bev with the squad if it's at a hotel, but then I need to talk to my lady. I FaceTime Susan, and it's just kind of like, all right, this is give her feedback because we're so different. She just levels me up like that. I love it. So let's take out this equation, anything electronic, phones, tablets, computers, and also the basic air, food, gravity. What are 3 things that Fitz can't live without?
My people, my dogs,
community, buddy. Yeah.
My people, my dogs, and sunscreen.
There you go. That's probably a good idea. May I ask what cancer you had? I know you said you were diagnosed.
So I had breast cancer.
Okay.
And that's really was, that was the nightmare. But I have had a few episodes of skin cancer because I'm a lifelong Floridian. So it was breast cancer, and it was not a party. But 94% of all breast cancer cases are curable. And the real message for everybody is go get all of your annual exams, your eyes, your ears, your prostate, your colon, get all the stuff, your skin. And then in between those appointments, squeeze your stuff. It's your hands, it's your stuff. You are permitted to touch yourself. You should look in the mirror. You should have your romantic partner touch yourself, your neighbors, your coworkers, whatever it may be. And then if you find something that looks or feels strange, you need to report it immediately. Some people just do the ostrich thing, put their head in their sand.
Love it.
I found I had a lump and 3 cancerous lymph nodes within 6 weeks of a clean mammogram. So had I not been scratching my under boob after a shower one morning, I'd be dead. So don't be dead.
Don't be dead. Let's keep living, get busy living. I love it. So Fitz, what is your definition of a life well lived?
White life well lived. I do the things that make me happy. I can tell
you've already answered it. I just wanted to ask you.
I mean, I go back, I make the decisions personally. Back when COVID, when they were saying, blah, 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 or when I was sick and people were saying, maybe you shouldn't travel. I have decided my life is better with people. My life is better hugging thousands of sweaty, germy strangers. I know what's important in my life, and I choose that every single day. So that's a life well lived. And if I get hit by the bus tomorrow, I hope at my service where they play my theme song, which is Walking on Sunshine, I hope everybody can look at each other and agree that I live life to the fullest and made the best of all my days.
I love it. I love that dash that you have. It's just full. Time to shine today, Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back, and with my awesome sauce friend Fitz Koehler. Fantastic speaker, author, just a kick-ass human being. And Fitz, you and I literally could, and we probably will one day, talk probably an hour on each one of these questions. I'm going to ask you, but you have 5 seconds with no explanation. You ready to level up?
Yeah.
Let's do it. What is the best leveling up advice Fitz has ever received?
Don't take no for an answer.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Choosing to be optimistic.
Love that. And outside of Fitzness, which is FITZNESS.com, and of course, time to shine today.com, my shameless plug. What website does Fitz go to level up?
Amazon or Spotify. I love podcasts.
Love it. So you see me, I'm walking down the street. Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums. Outside of like giving me a hug to cheer me up, what book might you hand me?
A book to level up. You know what? I really enjoyed Rob Lowe's Stories I Only Tell My Friends. It's
a good book. I can't believe you said that. It is awesome. That is a great book. I love it. Fitz, what is your most commonly used emoji when you text?
A heart followed by a microphone.
Love it. Other than Fitz, any nicknames?
Fitzy.
Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly,
me too. I'm right there with you. So what's your go-to flavor for ice cream?
Anything with big chunks of chocolate so I can eat out the chocolate chunks.
Go. There's a sandwich called the Fitzness. What's on it?
Oh, it's a veggie.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. Sorry.
You're fine.
It's a veggie sub.
Okay. Veggie sub. Love it. So you have a time machine. Okay. You can use it for one day. Would you go 50 years in the past or 50 years in the future?
I would go back. I would go backwards because I really do think some of I admire the Greatest Generation, and I'd go hang out with those guys for a while.
Me too. I'm right there with you. Love it. What's your favorite charity or an organization like to give your time or money to?
Anything for sick children or veterans and first responders.
Thank you for saying that. Hear that, my fellow vets? Love it. So last question.
Yeah.
You can elaborate on this one, Fitzy, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
All right. Big hair, don't care. I graduated high school in 1990, so I lived the whole 80s. So I would have loved to have been a little bit older in that decade of decadence, not so much a teenager, but I'm so glad I grew up then. Big hair, don't care. Then kind of rap, all the invasions from U2 in Ireland, Duran. It was just the best decade.
Yeah.
Right?
And timeless too. I mean, the cool kids that are 16 and 20, Doja Cat is still singing Flock of Seagull stuff. So It's proven that 80s are the best.
Dude, you listen to like Pitbull, right? He has Aha's Take on Me as the hook in his song. It's like all these songs have these 80s hooks, right? And it's fantastic. So Fitz, how can we find you, hon?
Well, I am at fitzness.com. That's my home base. That's where you find everything. I'm also at Fitzness on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's Fitz Koehler. And I love it when people follow away, but please say, I heard you on Fergie's podcast and I wanted to say hi because I would much rather have friends than followers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The quality. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about this book, or your awesome book, which we'll have a giveaway. So anybody that puts Fitzness in our any comment, whether it's Pinterest, Instagram, across the board, we'll get a free autographed copy with also some gifts, she said, from my good friend Fitz here. But the name of the book is My Noisy Cancer Comeback, Running at the Mouth While Running for My Life. And that came out like the end of COVID here. So, in 2020, right? So
October 2020.
Yeah. So what, can you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Yeah. So it's a memoir. And as you see with the cover, it's kind of a happy cover.
Yeah.
And if you look at cancer books, most of them are kind of dark and scary. And I didn't want to scare people. And, one of the original reason I wrote the book is because I thought, God, nobody tells you all this stuff. How come nobody tells you the truth about what happens? This is kind of funny. I mean, things started going south in so many ways that it was hilarious. And when my cancer care collided with my extraordinary travels and race announcing, man, it's filled with laughter. That's the greatest feedback I get is, oh my gosh, right. I cried a little, but boy, I laughed the whole time, like big laughs. And I enjoy people laughing at my expense. And then the other reason to read the book is, life is hard. Nobody gets out unscathed. And I used my little Fitzy powers to compel people to get through hard times in a better way, using perspective, passions, positivity, a little mantra, and yeah, it's entertaining. I sell them on Fitzness.com, hard and paperback, and I sign all of those copies. So if you want one for yourself, that's where you get it. If you have a friend going through hard times, you'd like me to send the book, I autograph them. And then it's an audiobook. I recorded the audiobook. So if you like my big mouth, if you like the way it sounds, you can listen to me go blah, blah, blah for 10 whole hours.
I love that. I love it. And I can't wait to get into it myself. And I have some friends that I think I need to buy it for as well. So sweet. Do me a favor, one last solid, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on today.
I think it's important for people to control the things they can. And, starting with your fitness, that's your responsibility. If you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you did that. It's your fault. And you take ownership of that. And at that point, that allows you to know that you can control it and make it better. If you're pointing the finger at other people, I'm a mom, I'm a caretaker, I got a job. Okay, it's everybody else's fault. You're helpless, but you're not helpless. So when it comes to your health, prepare your body to do battle today. Start watching what you put in your mouth, exercising often, getting to sleep, use the exact formula for weight loss. And then as it goes with everything else, pick and choose your battles. I find too many people finding reasons to be cranky and reasons to be upset where there's equal or greater reasons to be happy and comfortable, and life is short. So live large.
Dude, I love you say that because, I take from the Van Wilder movie when Ryan Reynolds was really nobody, where he's like, don't take life too seriously. You'll never make it out alive. Nope. Right. And that's how I absolutely live my life. And squad, there you have it. I mean, we had basically a free masterclass from my good friend Fitz here. She wants you to live with like herself, full force. Fitz Koehler. She wants you to do things that you can start to understand, that are attainable, and most of all, fun. Make the happy noise. Do better. Be better. Pursue your skill set with passion. Okay, inch by inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. So if you have questions, get your asking gear and ask the people to help you get there. And Fitz is an awesome resource for that. If she reminds us that it feels great to feel great, get over your fear. Anything we want is on the other side of fear. So again, get your asking gear to get by it. She's going to be remembered as the morning mile, the noisy mother, just a cancer survivor, and just an absolutely slid across home plate metaphor, bumped and bruised, but she scored, and she's going to bring as many people along to score with her as possible. She wants you to take responsibility. Remember, responsibility is no more than the ability to respond. So no matter what situation you're in, you can respond to that like Fitz did. Get noisy, get happy, laugh. It freaking feels good to do that. And prepare your body for battle every day. Like I talk about chasing energy and getting it done. Get out there, get moving, get lit, meaning in the sunshine, get freaking hydrated. And Fitz, you level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're humble, yet you're hungry. You earn your varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on. I love your guts so much.
I love your guts too, Fergie. Thank you for having me. And big hugs and love to all your listeners.
Yay! Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.